A bubble in a cup, a bubble in a cup. All you gave LA was a bubble in a cup. You want a statue, but you ain't done enough. All you gave LA was a bubble in a cup. Bubble in a cup, bubble and a cup. All you gave LA was a bubble in a cup. Demand respect, but won't give none up. All you gave LA was a bubble in a cup. Bum. Fucking clown. Of the flop, yeah, he do it a lot. A king ain't a king if his crown ain't righteous. You the GOAT on a team with the worst plus minus. Spineless, cause every time you lose, you run. But when you win, it's handshakes, giggles, and hugs. Ain't no coach's job safe around you if a teammate outshines or rebounds you. Knife to the back, boy, you about to be traded. You don't believe me? Ask Anthony Davidson. I don't give a damn about your all-time scoring or the stats you pass. You never be Jordan. Get his number off your back, LeBron, you're not worthy. The worst Laker to ever wear the jersey. LeGM might be worth his weight in money. The only thing clutch about you is your company. A bubble in a cup, a bubble in a cup. All you gave LA was a bubble in a cup. You want a statue, but you ain't done enough. All you gave LA was a bubble in a cup. A bubble and a cup, a bubble and a cup. All you gave LA was a bubble and a cup. Kobe told you they don't hang them fake banners up. All you gave LA was a bubble and a cup, you bum. Fucking clown. King of the flop, yeah, he do it a lot. Fanboys copied the song, it was soft as hell. But I made this beat and wrote it all myself. Yeah, they just like you, always needing some help. A lot, but Jordan wins with what he's got. He never cried, helped me to the refs for favors. Believed he couldn't win, became a ring chaser. Disrespected the game, I thought he was above it. Made a team draft a son they never really wanted. Called himself the GOAT, he respected other eras. But you don't, you won't appreciate your elders. You said we was lucky to get more LeBron, but you was wrong. We can't wait till your ass is gone. You narcissistic. Low management, ducking Giannis fake injury statistic. You never could've pulled this with Dr. Bus. He would've traded your ass, your bubble and your cup. A bubble and a cup, a bubble and a cup. All you gave LA was a bubble and a cup. You want a statue, but you ain't done enough. All you gave LA was a bubble and a cup. Bubble and a cup, bubble and a cup. All you gave LA was a bubble and a cup. Demand respect, but won't give none up. All you gave LA was a bubble and a cup. Bubble and a cup, bubble and a cup. All you gave LA was a bubble and a cup. Kobe told you they don't hang fake banners up. All you gave LA was a bubble and a cup. Bubble and a cup, bubble and a cup. All you gave LA was a bubble and a cup. All-Star Weekend still waiting on your dunk. All you gave LA was a bubble and a cup, you bum. You bum.
Woo! We are here on Wednesday morning, afternoon, if you're on the East Coast, and starting it off with L Explicit, Bubble in a Cup. Shout out to L Explicit. Somebody asked me in the chats, hey, how can I get that song? Go to L Explicit's channel and ask him. I'm not giving anyone his song. You will need his permission. We're fortunate to play it here. Come here and enjoy it. Sports Fitness Rants. Welcome. How many lines of coke have you done this morning?
Yes! 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 In the face! He put it in the face. Anyone who knows what I'm saying knows what I'm talking about when I say that quote, man. Once again, man, it's great to be back with another Wednesday edition, man. Listen, man, this is going to be probably the last Wednesday edition that me and AOH are going to be able to do for probably some time. I'm going to be getting back to my job grind starting next week. So the Wednesday shows are probably not going to happen regularly for us. So this is going to be the last Wednesday. So we're going to hit you guys with another hard one. Once again, man, I'm back with the czar of video footage, man. Like I said, it's great. Shout out to everybody in the chat that's already come through already. I see already a lot of people here. Deal with it, 28. Shout out to you, Renee, 43. Of course, Renee's here. Why would not Renee? It's not a show unless Renee's in the chat. Once again, shout out to all you guys. K. Slade, I see you out there. The Real Siberius, Dakota, Lareed, Brock, my man, I said it right, hopefully. CJ, what up? McZuggins, I see you out there. My man, Mado, Lamno 12. Shout out to Croatia. I was out in Croatia when I was in the military. I was out in Split, Croatia. Shout out to you, my man. Animaniac 89, go fly. LT can't get right. Laney Music, Michael Gill, Armand Smith, Falcons 2123, Import AI. Shout out to all you guys that continue to come through. My man Chip Ferguson, Monroe, Candle Guy, Hoop Oracle. Thank you very much, my man. Story Games is here, man. Top Dog, thank you very much. You guys know the deal, man. Let's roll.
And I wanted to give a shout out to Gogo Fly's comment saying, let's have a clean show. Call your own fouls. And McZuggins,
what up? W, what's good?
I got your email, McZuggins. It's a very complicated reply. Maybe we'll get to it in the show today.
Yo, before we start, AOH, we didn't get a chance to talk a little bit or conversate before we came on right now. A lot of times we have a chance to talk for a couple minutes, but I want to say it right now before we start the show. Like I said, it's going to be probably the last Wednesday. But as far as Sundays moving forward, man, I think that me and my man AOH should rename the Sunday Live, and we should title it Angry Old Rants, and that should be our Sunday show, man. And we'll just do ranting. Like I said, we'll continue our basketball stuff, but I think we're going to start talking about football. It's going to be Sunday. We can do before the football games come on. And like I said, we could just rant about any of the hot topics, anything that's going on out there you guys want to hear us talk about and conversate about, man.
Yeah, we could do that. I didn't know if we were going to start a separate one that was just purely ranting about non-sports shit and some sports shit, but I
think it's going to be great. Like I said, for a Sunday right before the games come on. And like I said, people wanted us to branch out into football and to other things. And we already been talking about random stuff on these Sunday lives and on these lives in general. So I think it's just great to tie it all in.
Cool. And speaking of, I did get sucked in to watching Netflix's Dallas Cowboys special that is new.
Okay, yeah.
They do a good job making it pretty interesting, but Netflix always wants to talk too much about the people. Like they keep going and telling me way too many details about that piece of trash Jerry Jones. It's like the football footage is great, the games are great, but I don't need to know more details about Jerry Jones.
Yeah, that's interesting. That you brought that up, AOH, because I saw them talking about this a lot right now on social media. I see a lot of clips popping up from Jimmy Johnson. I've seen clips from Michael Irvin, some of the things from these episodes or from this show from Netflix. And I was a huge Emmitt Smith fan when I was growing up, when I was young, man. Like I told people all the time on my channel, I wore number 22 like Emmitt Smith when I played football. I had number 22 written on my Newmans. I had 22 I put on my cleats. Like Emmitt Smith was the guy who had the posters, on my wall and stuff like that. So I obviously watched and followed the Cowboys because I was a huge Emmitt Smith fan. I wasn't necessarily a Cowboys fan. I was always more of a Giants fan, but Emmitt Smith, I was always rooting for him. So, see that. I might have to watch that.
I think I'm partway through the third episode. They have not mentioned anyone on the offensive line yet, which, if I recall, that offensive line had a huge role in their success. And they're making it sound like the team is Emmitt Smith, Aikman, and Irving.
Well, yeah, I mean, listen, let's be real. Once again, like we think about the Last Dance documentary, right? People were getting upset, or some of these guys felt like there was, some shade thrown at some of these guys because maybe they weren't mentioned enough, or they weren't given certain credits, or, Scottie Pippen, we all know, infamously was upset because they talked about him not wanting to go back into the game. So, yeah, when you talk about the Dallas Cowboys, it's a similar scenario. I remember, like I said, when I was growing up, obviously they talked about the three players, right? Michael Irvin, Troy Aikman, and Emmitt Smith. But when you think about someone like Emmitt Smith and you think about him historically, he's one of the greatest running backs of all time, probably a top 3, top 5 running back in the history of the game. And when you look at what he was able to do, and like you said, you talk about the offensive line. Offensive linemen never get credit. Them dudes never get shine. Like I said, I played football my whole life, man. And the offensive linemen were the guys that never got shine. But the people that did give the linemen credit were guys like Emmitt Smith. MC, this is what we're talking about, the dynamics here. So yes, maybe the linemen won't get the credit necessarily or the shine on a TV program on Netflix because that's not sexy. That's not what's going to sell, right? They want to talk about the stars. They want to talk about those stories you're talking about. They want to talk about the dirt. Let's be real once again. When you think about the Dallas Cowboys and some of the players on that team, and Michael Irvin, right, and some of the personalities, right, the things that these guys were doing maybe off the field, man, this is where the stories are. This is what makes them the Dallas Cowboys. This is what made them popular. You know, you think about some of these teams and some of these sports. You remember the New York Mets, like the amazing Mets of the mid to late 80s, man, and some of these things that they were doing, man, like the stories from that team is probably greater than the actual team itself.
And what are you looking forward to this weekend? All right, it's not even as far as games go. I mean, are you intrigued? Are you pulled in for football season?
Absolutely. I'm a huge football fan. I'm a fan of college football also. Like I said, just football in general. Like, you know, when we talk about being a fan of something, I've always said, people, I'm a fan of sports, man. Like I said, growing up, I was a fan of sports. So I was aware of other sports, maybe if I didn't necessarily play them, but I was aware of other sports like tennis and the soccers and the hockeys, even though I didn't maybe necessarily play them on a regular basis. But yeah, man, football has always been a thing. Like I said, college football to me is great, man. I can't wait for the season to start.
I wonder if people talk about Emmitt Smith's offensive line more because of Barry Sanders' lack of an offensive line. You know, Barry Sanders had to overcome a lot in comparison, or at least that's the impression that I got during that time period.
Yeah, so, you know, when we talk about the Barry Sanders, Emmitt Smith comparisons, and that's a hardcore debate and argument. I mean, listen, like I said, I grew up as an Emmitt Smith fan, so I had many arguments with Barry Sanders people or people that said that Emmitt Smith was only great because of his line. Let's make something very clear here off the top. Emmitt Smith was a great all-around running back. He was a three-down back. There was nothing that Emmitt Smith could not do. He could pick up the blitz, right? He could block for protection, right? And drop, do those things. He could catch the ball in the backfield. And he was a very good, great running back, running the football between the tackles, breaking things outside, breaking tackles. Emmitt Smith was very elusive. He didn't have the speed or maybe the elusivity of a Barry Sanders, because no one has in the history of the game, as far as I'm concerned. I've never seen anyone move on the field like Barry Sanders. So there's never been a denying of Barry Sanders' greatness. Barry Sanders was always recognized as one of the great running backs, if not the greatest running back when he played. Everyone understood. Now, the winning, once again, doesn't take away from Barry Sanders. Why? Because it's football. It's a team sport to the highest degree. So no one really takes away from Barry Sanders' career. In my estimation, all I ever hear from people talking about Barry Sanders is that he's either the greatest running back of all time or number two. In my estimation, he's probably number two. But you've heard people who say that Walter Payton is the greatest running back of all time. Me, myself, I say that Jim Brown is. So there is a dynamic there, but Barry Sanders is recognized. It's not as if people are saying, oh, Emmitt Smith is greater than Barry Sanders because of his Super Bowls. If you're making an argument, it's based off of what they could do skill-wise. And Emmitt Smith, once again, could go up against anybody as far as what he could do on the football field overall. The numbers, we could place the numbers-wise, and the winning on the team aspect, absolutely.
I'm going to say something negative about Emmitt and then something positive, because back then I wasn't paying attention to shit like contracts, and it was harder to find out about it. You had to actually be on the sports channel. But I guess going into season 3, Emmitt held out and wanted more money, and Dallas held strong and wouldn't pay him. And he sat out the first 2 games, and then, to his credit, they didn't win without him. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, shit happens, but it certainly is evidence in his favor. Here's the positive part. He suffers an injury later in the season, and he comes back in the game. They put some extra padding on it or something, and he keeps playing. Yeah. And I was just thinking that would not happen today. Like, you demand today, what happens? You demand the money, the franchise pays you, and then you don't play. Or at least, you know, I'm projecting the NBA onto it a little bit, but I feel like we've lost the, hey, you're getting paid and it's football, you keep playing.
Yup. I mean, listen, Emmitt Smith's greatest strength was greater than a lot of the great running backs. That's why he's, you know, has the numbers he has. It's not just because of his line. It's because of the toughness, the heart, the grit, and the durability of Emmitt Smith, man. This man was carrying the rock 30 times a game, damn near, right? And he was out there getting banged up, playing in a very tough NFL era when he played, man. So damn the line and all of the other guys, Darryl Johnston and the team that they had overall. Emmitt Smith was a great running back. You put him on any team in the NFL, he's a great running back because, like I said, he could do all the things of the great running backs. But if we understand the NFL's history, guys, then you understand that the NFL, the running back position, is steeped in tradition and history, man, and greatness, man. It goes all the way back to someone like Jim Thorpe, guys, all the way back to someone like him. You think about someone like Steve Van Buren from the Philadelphia Eagles and what he was able to do and the things that he could put on video footage. We talk about someone like Gale Sayers in the career that was cut short and what he could have done numbers-wise. But once again, the flash, the video footage shows what he was able to do. The Eric Dickersons, even someone like O.J. Simpson was an outstanding, fantastic runner of the football. So the NFL's history is, like I said, you can argue a lot of these guys are the greatest running back of all time, man. But like I said, Emmitt Smith, the Barry Sanders debates, they were often always relegated to, oh, Emmitt Smith has the line because they're talking about numbers. We're not talking about numbers. We're talking about what these guys could do on the field, man.
Well, I wanted to mention that we have a cultist in the chat already. Any of you guys who have moderator privileges, feel free to dump him. But in the victimhood mentality of y'all, while we're talking about football, you started saying, why don't you all ever talk about anything other than LeBron? So now I'm going to blame you. Now I'm going to blame you. Now we're going to go talk about LeBron.
But if you know every show, that's why everybody's here. Once again, shout out to everybody that's come through already in the chat, man, on a Wednesday afternoon here, man. For me, a Wednesday morning for some of you guys out there, man. You know, we talk about the things. We've always started off shows talking about different topics. Like I said, we go down paths, we deviate, we go off on tangents. That's why it's ranting. This is what we do here. That's why it's going to be the angry old rants, man. They can't do what we do. Remember, and once again, they're here for the education.
Super chat. Wasabi says, LeBum has the ugliest golf swing I have ever seen. That's hard to believe considering that Charles Barkley is out there. Is it actually worse? That shit Charles Barkley does looks like he's trying to injure himself.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I've never tried to swing a golf club like, you know, going to like a range and try to hit golf balls. So I don't, you know, I'm not going to act as if I play golf and I know what it's like to swing a golf club like that on that level. I've swung a golf club before just messing around, but never serious to the degree, like I said, where I'm at a driving range or I'm going and playing golf. I've never went and actually played golf before. So I understand there is a level, a degree there of difficulty understanding how to get your swing and all this stuff. But like you said, that clip of Charles Barkley is infamous, guys.
Now, I'm going over to your channel. I was looking at your channel this morning. I was debating, getting caught up and getting fired up. And I saw the topics. I was like, I can't. I don't know which one of those you want to talk about. I should throw it up on the screen. Holy shit, man. The garbage that is out there. Congratulations to you for continuing to fight the narrative and set the record straight. But my God, the shit that's out there is, I don't know, man. I'm having a hard time. I'm a little burnt out. I think I need a little vacation before I come back and deal with another actual season.
Well, I mean, listen, let's, in the vein of everything that you just said, let's talk about LeBron James and one of the videos I just did on LeBron James about him. And I told you this, Mind the Game clip popping up. And him being the leader of the USA basketball team and him being at all the practices earlier and, all the stuff that he does for USA basketball that Grant Hill was talking about and telling Steve Nash. Steve Nash said he had a conversation with Grant Hill, and these are all things that Grant Hill was saying. But in the vein of, like I just said, we do is talk about LeBron James. Let me divert quickly. And on a side note, I saw someone left a comment about Brian Urlacher. Shot to Full Venom Jacket says Brian Urlacher is my GOAT as a Bears fan. 9 out of 13 seasons with 100+ tackles. Never had a real QB his entire career. Dude gave everything he had. Yo, shout out to Full Venom Jacket. I got a funny story that I heard about Brian Urlacher. Once again, this is not a first-hand story that I'm giving you here. But shout out to Brian Urlacher, who I said is one of the legit all-time great linebackers. I was listening to Baz Rutten one time. Shout out to Baz Rutten. If you guys know who Baz Rutten is, we talk about being tough. You talk about, being a quote unquote badass. Baz Rutten is one of them legit dudes right there. You guys know Baz Rutten, one of the MMA fighters, man, one of the all-time great fighters, man, in the cage and all this stuff. Anyway, I was listening to him tell a story one time about Brian Urlacher. And he was talking about how one time he was out, I can't know what country or where he was, or if he was in the States or whatever, but he was out in a club somewhere. And I guess the story goes that he was telling us that he bumped into Brian Urlacher by accident, I guess, and I guess kind of like one of those scenarios where you bump into somebody and almost spill their drink, and it's like, hey man, watch where you're going. It was a scenario like that Baz Rutten was alluding to. And if you guys know, Baz Rutten is one of those guys where he's not a bully or a guy that's looking to get into altercations with people, or a guy that you might even know who he is, like I said. And I guess Brian Urlacher didn't know who he was. And I guess Brian Urlacher proceeded to start something with Baz Rutten. And Baz Rutten it's like telling Brian Urlacher, hey, listen, man, I don't want no problems, man. I'm sorry, man. It was my fault. You know what I'm saying? I bumped into you, man. You know what I'm saying? Let me buy you a drink. It was like one of those things he said. I'm trying to like dead it and, trying to go about my day here. And he said that Brian Urlacher was like, yo, you want to make something of it? Let's go outside. So Baz Rutten was like, okay, let's go outside. And as they're trying to go outside, I guess the story goes that he's saying is that people start to come over and let Brian Urlacher know who he's dealing with here. Like, yo, my man, listen, Brian Urlacher, you a bad mofo. Like my man Full Venom Jacket is talking about. This dude was out there in the field laying people out, giving this all out there. I'm saying playing a very tough position in NFL. But you can't deal with what something that Baz Rutten is going to bring to you. And they had to let this dude know. And once Brian Urlacher understood who he was and figured it out, he immediately apologized to Baz Rutten and was like, yo, my fault, man. I didn't know who you were. So remember, this goes back to what I told you guys last week. We are responsible for our actions and the consequences of our actions. If people would not have intervened and let Brian Urlacher know who he was dealing with here, this could have been a bad scenario for Brian Urlacher. Not saying that Baz Rutten would have killed him, because Baz Rutten is, like I said, a nice guy, and he's a legit professional. But he would have put Brian Urlacher in a compromised position, man. And who knows what that would have ended up being, like I said, man. So once again, shout out to Brian Urlacher.
But if we're going to talk about responsibility, shouldn't Urlacher have known that himself before picking a fight like that, instead of having other people come and say, hey, you just stepped into some shit?
Well, like I said, Baz Rutten is a very unassuming person. Like I said, if you guys know Baz Rutten, he's an old school fighter from back in the day. Legit fighting. I'm talking about what Baz Rutten could do. You guys know him as the king of the liver shot. This guy has videos on YouTube, man. You can Google him right now. Like I said, I know about Baz Rutten because I've known about, fighting in mixed martial arts since like the 90s and stuff. But he's a legit dude. Like I said, Brian Urlacher not knowing who he was is something I understand to a degree. However, like I said, sometimes when you are somewhere, like I said, I don't know if he was in America at the time, you have to be careful who you're dealing with here. I remember Baz Rutten telling a similar story with a bouncer. He got into a scenario at a nightclub with a bouncer who thought he was bad and started to come at Baz Rutten a certain way. And Baz Rutten was trying to say, hey, man, I'm sorry. I'm trying to, no harm, man. I'm good, man. No problems. And the dude proceeded to cause an issue. And Baz Rutten put this guy in a compromised issue, in a situation, man. So like I said, man, this dude could kill you. You don't know who you're dealing with out here. You think you're bad. There's someone out there that's better than you, man. I remember one time, I know I'm talking with crazy. I'm rambling on here, man. This is what we do.
Angry old rants.
Yo, I remember, man, when I was working in the jail for years, and you see a lot of bad dudes come through there. I'm talking about scary people, man. People that you don't want to run into, right? And I remember one time there being a scenario after all these years working in the jail and listening to a lot of these guys run their mouths when I really know that they're not like that. And I remember saying one time, I yelled to all these guys, man. I'm in the housing unit with 60 other dudes, man. And I remember yelling out, like, listen, man, all of y'all are not tough. Everybody can't be tough. Everyone's not tough, man. Everyone can't be the baddest dude out there. Don't ever think you're the baddest dude out there. Don't ever think that, because you're going to be in for a rude awakening, my friends.
I know.
Chris Rock said, famous lines, ain't no one above an ass whooping.
Let me throw on a super chat here. Underscore Armando Ruiz. Do these names keep changing? I guess it's Armando Ruiz, but I keep getting confused. I feel like these names change. That's your boy, right? You want to read it?
Yeah, word. Shout out to my man AR, Armando Ruiz coming through. He says, a random thought. People talk about LeBron's quote-unquote decision, but not Riley's. He let Bron and Bosh join Wade, sparking the super team era. Did he misjudge LeBron and regret it later? I feel like Riles messed up. Hey, you know what? This is a great question. AOH, go ahead, man.
It is a great question. I've thought of it. And to the point of, did he misjudge? I'm like, how? How did you watch what LeBron was doing in his shitty performances in the playoffs and then make a judgment call to bring him in? I mean, that's a bad decision by Riley. Now, I don't know if we glorify Riley because of the Lakers and the Knicks and the Heat, and just because he was old school and he made his teams practice hard, but he has some shady things, like the blood on the floor, Madison Square Garden book that I read. Like he had a foot in at Miami and a foot in New York, and was dealing behind the scenes and trying to get a piece of ownership in Miami and holding out until they gave him a piece of ownership. And then he was going to be like, fuck you, New York, which, as much as you want to like Riley, I can't say that that's exactly a very inspiring story about him.
I mean, listen, Pat Riley is a true competitor. All right, let's understand. Pat Riley played in the NBA, right? He played, in the era of the '60s, man. He played around some great players, Will Chamberlain and Jerry West. So Pat Riley understands what a great player looks like. He understands a lot of things. And like I said, when you talk about him as far as his character, from what I've noticed as a coach, I know Pat Riley as a coach. Obviously, I wasn't around for Pat Riley as a player. I remember Pat Riley as a coach, coaching the New York Knicks, coaching the Miami Heat, coaching the Los Angeles Lakers, right? Coaching some of these teams that he's coached. So we understand what he's about, right? This is what makes Pat Riley so great. So yeah, some of the shrewd business moves behind the scenes, that's competitiveness from Pat Riley. I wouldn't expect anything less from Pat Riley. What Armando Ruiz mentioned when he talks about, did Pat Riley, kind of trust in LeBron James too much, or misjudge him, or overestimate LeBron James, let's say? Because in my estimation, I think that's what ended up happening. I think he did overestimate LeBron James to a degree. I think that they all thought that they were going to go in there and run roughshod over the entire NBA. This is what everyone thought. The only freaking way that you could come out with the bravado of LeBron James and have a press conference to make the decision, not only that, but to then have the conference and the show, the circus, that they sort of coming out with the one, not two. I mean, they're all sitting there on stools like a bunch of freaking idiots. I mean, what are we doing here, man? So you come out with that kind of bravado, you obviously thought y'all was going to come out there and do something. But what ended up happening, like my man Armando Ruiz is talking about, I think maybe, just maybe, LeBron James overestimated himself. LeBron James overestimated Dwayne Wade. He overestimated Chris Bosh. Pat Riley overestimated all of them and how they were going to be able to come together, man. Once again, LeBron James not being the dude that people might have thought he was.
I think all the time, especially since YouTube played my own video for me recently, I was like, wow, I like that one. When he came out and made the excuse when Steve Nash was, not Steve Nash, the other ass kisser, JJ Redick was trying to get the coaching job and was letting LeBron James lie on the podcast to his face. And he said that we didn't have enough help because we were built around minimum guys. And I'm like, they not only had enough help, the only thing you had to do was get rid of LeBron James for them to win. Because LeBron James was so bad, you can point to the evidence that shows if you replace him with someone else, the Miami Heat win. So don't blame other people, LeBron James. It was you that cost them. Don't say there wasn't enough help unless you're talking about yourself. Right. But that makes me disappointed in Pat Riley not to be able to have judged him better, because this was not LeBron's first choke. Everybody talks about 2011. It was not LeBron's first choke or him demonstrating a weak mentality on the court, such as, fuck you guys, I'm done.
I mean, if we think about what we're talking about, think about 2011 and how he acted going into that finals. Think about how the Miami Heat were up 2-1, guys, and we've talked about this many times. right? LeBron James and Dwayne Wade mocking Dirk Nowitzki coming into game 4, right? They're mocking this dude, laughing at him because he's possibly coming down with something. Maybe Dirk Nowitzki is having a little sickness. He's got a cough or something. So they're playing the front runner. They're up 2-1. They're on their super team. They're feeling really good, man. They were breezing through everybody, right? Everyone had the Miami Heat pumped up. Everyone's like, oh, LeBron James is never the favorite. This man was the heavy favorite and still buckled under the pressure. Even meanwhile, your boy Dwayne Wade was balling. It wasn't like him and Dwayne Wade choked it up. It was him out there by himself choking it up.
I see Uncut said that the Dallas Cowboys special is worth a watch. Yeah, we opened the show talking about that. I don't want to circle back to it though. Did you hear when Bosch tried to blame their whole showboating thing coming out on the stage on, there was already a stage set up there from a previous event. So what were we going to do? But you guys, Bosch in an interview was like, I'm like, you motherfuckers had a choreographed entrance with fireworks. Don't dismiss this shit by, there was already a stage there.
See, that's what I'm saying, man. You got to own it. If you want to do all these things, you want to act this way, like I said, you want to have that bravado, then you got to go out there and back it up. See, that's the thing about a lot of the great players that we've admired that have big mouths. Some of these guys that talk the talk, but they walk the walk. They go out there and put out. That's what makes someone like Muhammad Ali so great, right? Because he could go out there and talk that stuff. Not only the things that he said were unique, authentic, original, and creative, but he was able to go out there and do and back it up and perform at that level more often than not. He went out there and put out what he was going to talk about. A lot of these great players, I remember Deion Sanders used to run his mouth a lot, talk a lot of trash, Deion Sanders, right? He was real flashy, Deion Sanders. But the man went out there and performed. He went out there and played. He went out there and did it. So I always said, if you're going to run your mouth, that's great. You want to be one of those guys? I have no problem with that, man. I love the loudmouth dude. Go out there and run your mouth, man. But you got to go out there and back it up, man. Because then when you don't back it up, then the pushback is going to be even that much louder. I remember Odell Beckham. I'm a Giants fan. Odell Beckham Jr. and these guys, they went out on a boat ride before one of the playoff games against the Green Bay Packers back 2013 or whatever that was. And everyone was criticizing and talking about, why are these guys going and partying before the game? It's a big-time playoff game. You're going against the Packers. You shouldn't be going out there and partying. But people were like, who cares, whatever, whatever. And I always said, these guys want to go out there and party and do whatever, then you got to show up on the field. You guys, there's no excuses then. I don't want to hear it. And what happened on the field for Odell Beckham Jr.? If anybody remembers that game, he was out there dropping passes, dropped the touchdown in the end zone. He didn't play up to the level of Odell Beckham Jr. that you needed for the Giants to win that game or compete to win that game. So once again, this is what we're talking about. You want to do these things, you want to have that bravado, you want to live that lifestyle, then you got to back it up.
So I got a comment here that says there was a possibility that LeBron intentionally blew the 2011 finals because he was worried about Dwayne Wade getting the MVP. And listen, it's really hard to say whether or not he was just as bad as he looked or if he was intentionally as bad as he looked. But when I first heard this, I made a video. It was like, does this actually make LeBron fans feel better? Like and this is the problem with cultists. First you deny and you deny and you deny, and then you find an escape route, and instead of denying, you change your excuse.
Yep.
And it's like, as long as it's not the original excuse, then we're okay. You guys actually think that someone who would intentionally sabotage his own team is someone worth looking up to?
Yep. Exactly.
And you and it's LeBron fans that said this shit partially in an effort to defend how bad he played. And then they'll turn around and be like, he's not a self-serving person, that he's a good person. If what you are saying is true, he fucked over his entire team because of his own ego. And you think that this is somebody worth looking up to? Huh.
Yo, AOH, you making some great points here. And let me help you with some scenarios here. it's not just the 2011 series that we think about. And, you've seen in people talk about LeBron James, possibly, throwing the series once he understood and realized they were down 3-2 and they were reeling and he didn't know what to do and figured out that he sabotaged Dwayne Wade. He sabotaged his team degree. But we can also look at 2014 and how the Spurs were blowing out the Miami Heat in record fashion en route to a record margin victory in the finals. But if you guys remember a lot of those games, LeBron James was out there scoring points and getting stats while the team was getting blown out, man. He was just out there stat padding. Why? For his own selfish gain, man. Where was all that stuff and energy when the game was tied, when the game first started out, man? You weren't playing defense like that. You weren't hustling like that. And his teammates blamed Dwayne Wade's knees. They blamed Chris Bosh. They always blaming someone else. Well, LeBron James out there stat padding, do nothing. But if we also think about 2017, when LeBron James went out there and was like, I'm averaging a triple-double during the finals, but you were not trying to guard Kevin Durant to that degree. Remember, guys, it's not only that the Golden State Warriors won 4-1 that looks bad. It's not only that Kevin Durant won the Finals MVP. It's not only that Kevin Durant dominated LeBron James. It's that he dominated LeBron James in the numbers he put up were historic in the finals, Kevin Durant. He did that directly going against LeBron James. I don't want to hear about a super team when you had your boys behind you, Kyrie Irving and Kevin Love, who they keep telling me that was the reason why they lost in 2015. And we all know that Kyrie Irving averaged 29 points a game in that NBA Finals. So your second best player was averaging 29 points a game, and Kevin Durant went out there and averaged 37 on like 50, 40, freaking 90 shooting splits because you wouldn't guard Kevin Durant. You had guys like Richard Jefferson and Jeff Green and Iman Shumpert and J.R. Smith switching screens and all these freaking guys. It was embarrassing, man. And you stamp padded, man.
The number of games that I've done breakdowns on where I'm trying to get people to understand, hey, the headline is LeBron got these big numbers. And I'm like, watch what it cost the team. Watch what LeBron getting his numbers costs the team. Because these are almost like 9 times out of 10, these are losses. This is LeBron James feeding when everyone else starves. And what's particularly, it's a side topic of that, is that people will criticize Michael Jordan's early years for supposedly being exactly like that. Oh, look at his numbers. He's doing all these things, but he's not winning.
Yep.
It's like, oh, so this guy can't figure out how to win. Here we have someone that you're glorifying who puts winning behind his numbers, even when he's supposed to be a wise veteran of the game. We need to read a super from the Jesse Glad Saget. When LeBrick tried to disavow the 11 Heat being a super team because lack of role players, he inadvertently admitted he couldn't win without a super team. Yeah, there's that too. But I will never ever agree that it wasn't a super team. It was insane. Just insane.
That's what I'm saying. He always contradicting himself, LeBron James. Like, I tell you all the time, it's the George Costanza syndrome. When you're living a lie and you have so many different lies out there in the world, then you're going to constantly come across contradictions in your stories depending on what you're talking about and who you're talking to. It's classic George. I mean, think about how many times in that show Seinfeld, this man ran into somebody and had to remember that he was an architect or he was a marine biologist, and all these other things that he was lying about throughout that show. He was living a lie. He lied about where he lived, lied about how much money he was making. Everything he talked about was a lie. So he never knew where the hell he was in his life. That's LeBron. Think about his podcast. Every story is a contradiction.
It'll be the same thing with the steroids. Deny, deny, deny. Oh, he doesn't do steroids. There's no, your evidence is circumstantial. Then when it becomes undeniable, it's just going to change. The cultists are just going to change. Listen, if there's a problem with it, then say that you don't think that if there's no problem with him doing steroids, you should have that stance right now. Not be saying that he's not taking steroids. If you truly don't think that he flops, then you should be saying that flopping is bad and he doesn't do it. Not change later on when LeBron himself admits to flopping to, well, it's okay because he needs to, or it's part of the game. Stop changing your arguments. And every one of your arguments is embarrassing, by the way. Like, you don't have any direction that saves
Exactly.
you. Every single one of your excuses just shows more and more what clowns you guys are deep down.
I'm leaving early for treatment. I'm taking
Gosh,
vitamins.
I'm starting my process, and it's only on the nights that he loses. And then
Come
he
on,
admitted
man.
it he admitted that too. And he and Nash laughed about it as if it wasn't real. I'm like, it's fucking real. What are you guys doing? What are you talking about? And
Yep.
speaking of the clowns, I saw that you had a thumbnail of that shittard from House of Highlights. I got it.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm got to say, I have to believe you that he hasn't played basketball. I don't know for a fact, but he looks like 50% of the techies that sucked the life out of this place.
Absolutely, AOH. And I figured something out. I found something out, and now I understand what these videos are. So this is the second video I've done now, maybe the third or fourth video I've done overall as far as the House of Highlights. But this is the second video in succession based off of a clip that's similar. He's sitting in an office or a room, whatever it is, and he's holding up his phone on speaker, and someone provides him with a quote unquote hot take. Now, what I thought was following him, this person giving off their hot take, what I originally thought was it was that person continuing to explain their hot take. But what I found out now, and which makes this even worse for the House of Highlights, this clown Omar Raj or whatever his name is that what I'm realizing now is that these people are giving their hot take on the speaker, and then the thing that follows, the entire minute clip that gives the explanation why, is him. He's the one actually saying this and providing the storyline following the hot take. So in essence, he's giving support to the hot take.
Exactly.
And the latest hot take that I was talking about in that video anyway, was that they're now saying that LeBron James may not be greater than Michael Jordan as far as the resume and all of the accolades and all of these things. But the one thing that we know for certain is that LeBron James is definitely, quote unquote, better at basketball than Michael Jordan.
It's so weird. It's so weird. And again, that's another argument that flopped because I thought that they had decided that LeBron's overall resume was better. And of course, I think that they put that out there, and then they looked at Michael Jordan's resume and was like, "Oops, we need to change that one."
Right, so it's almost like they're like, "Oh, well, we'll concede that Michael Jordan is greater as far as the resume, but the one thing that we know is that he's not better at basketball." That's what he said. He's not better at basketball than Michael Jordan. And I want you guys to understand something, or he's better at basketball than Michael Jordan. Okay. To me, there's nothing that LeBron James does better than Michael Jordan on the basketball
name
court.
one.
That's why the results are not there for them. So when
Cultus, name one.
Right.
Cultus, name one. Just one. Free throw, dribbling, mid-range, not even dunking. I'm not even
AOH,
LeBron
he
dunking.
said that he was an elite rebounder. He called LeBron James an elite rebounder. Elite.
LeBron James could literally sit on the floor and get the rebounds that they're getting nowadays because it would just land in his lap. And if it didn't land in his lap, the four teammates surrounding him would tap it into his lap.
Everybody in the chat, I'm asking you guys right now in the chat. You guys tell me, is LeBron James a quote-unquote elite rebounder? Who do you guys think or consider are elite rebounders in NBA's history? This guy Omar from House of Highlights with 17 million subscribers is saying that LeBron James is an elite rebounder.
I don't know.
Elite. The man averages 7 rebounds a game for his career at 6'9" and playing in one of the weakest, softest, shortest eras in the history of the game.
I'd rather he doesn't deserve to be talked about more. I feel like he's a kid who had money and would go to games. And in that, how House Highlights got their start was having their own footage. And then instead of getting shut down, the NBA decided to embrace them. They even had a House of Highlights camera featured in a game one time. Anyway, he's
isn't Dennis Rodman considered an elite rebounder? Like, when I think of, like, damn, man, the elite rebounds in NBA's history, I immediately think about someone like Dennis Rodman or Charles Barkley, right? Some of these guys that were going after on the rebounds, the Will Chamberlains, the Bill Russells, the Wes Unselds, like some of these guys that were going after. Kevin Garnett was a great rebounder, right? Ben Wallace, like some of these guys that were elite rebounders. LeBron James is not an elite rebounder. Even if you think about his position, if they're trying to say he's an elite rebounder at the small forward position, I'm here to educate everyone. Omar, you included. LeBron James is not an elite rebounder at the small forward position, guys. He's not. He's not. You know who's the elite rebounder at the small forward position, guys? Elgin Baylor, who averages more rebounds for his career than Dennis Rodman does. And he's a 6'5" small forward. That's the elite rebounding. All right, Larry Bird was an elite rebounder, a high-level rebounder at that position. Dr. J was an elite Look at the offensive rebounding numbers, not for Elgin Baylor, obviously, for the other players. Look at the guys. I want you to go look at their offensive rebounding numbers. Dominique Wilkins, right? Even Scottie Pippen. Look at their offensive rebounding numbers versus LeBron James. That would tell you the whole story. LeBron James can't even shine Sean Marion shoes rebounding the ball at the small forward position, man.
That was something I have to admit I didn't really appreciate about Larry Bird's game until I went back and was doing some videos. And I was like, God damn, this guy's a tenacious rebounder.
Yep.
Wasabi no Gemu with another super chat says that he sent a video of LeBron's golf swing. I just saw that, it was an embedded clip. Send me a link to something online if you want me to watch it fast, because it has to go through this virus scanning and all that shit if you send an attachment. But anyway, I don't even care to watch it. No offense to you, but what do you think? Do you actually think that LeBron's golf swing's uglier than Charles Barkley's?
I haven't seen it.
I heard. Well, no, I'm asking Wasabi what he thinks, since he super chatted. But and my understanding is that Barkley's swing has improved. So I'm talking about Barkley's swing at its worst.
Yeah, I was like 15 years ago?
I don't know, but he looks like he's trying to throw a disc out of his own back. Real Siberia's gifted an Angry Old Hoops membership. Thank you. Gun Club Kyle received a gift membership. Oh, now it's telling me who gets the memberships.
Nice. Shout out to Gun Club Kyle, man. For a funny story about a shooting range. I've been to a lot of shooting ranges in my life, for jobs that I've had, and obviously for the military. And I was a gunner's mate in the military. So, my job in the military was to learn how to take apart weapons and, put them together and teach people, how to operate these weapons when you're out on the ships and stuff like that. Anyway, I was visiting one of my old Navy buddies down in San Antonio. Old Navy buddy story down in San Antonio. I was visiting one of my old buddies, and he took me to a range down there. San Antonio's crazy, by the way, man. Shout out to anybody from Texas, man. We went to a convenience store down the block from his house. We walked there, and these two cowboys came in. I'm not lying, y'all. These two cowboys came in. This was like 2008, I want to say. These two cowboys came in with hats on. They had spurs on their boots, guys. They were clanging and clanging when they came in there. I'm not exaggerating this. And they walked in. I was online to get something, and I heard the spurs, and I turned around. Two cowboys came in, guys, with 6 shooters on their hips. I almost freaked out, y'all. In New York, if someone walked into a convenience store with guns shown on their hips, something's about to go down, y'all, right? You have to either prepare yourself for flight or fight, son. So anyway, I thought it was crazy. And I said to my boy, I'm like, you could walk around with guns like this? And he's like, yeah, it's Texas, man. It's open carry. It don't matter. I'm like, you can't do that stuff in New York, man. That's crazy. That's like a threat. You walking around like a threat. But anyway, man, you know what I'm saying? I diverted off into a whole nother story. Sorry, guys.
That's where you're ending it?
Okay. I forgot where I was trying to go.
Well, I guess you succeeded with, carrying 6 shooters. There's no fucking rule at all. I understand that they're pretty open with their gun thing and they're super pro gun, but you can just carry around 6 shooters. I thought at least it had to be No, what am I talking about? They carry assault fucking weapons.
Back to my story though. I'm sorry, I got confused with my story. But back to my story, I was saying my
Okay.
man took
There
me
is
to
an
a
end.
gun range. Took me to a gun range. Right? So we go to gun range, and I've never been to a gun range, like I said, out in the civilian world before. And there's rules and things that you have to follow, man. And I went out there and I started unloading, the handgun that I had. And all of a sudden, the guy that was, in charge came running back there and started screaming and yelling to high hell, asking me, what the hell are you guys doing? What are you doing back here, man? It was nuts, man. I felt so bad, man. We almost got kicked out of the gun range. Yeah, there's no rapid fire. No rapid fire. That's what he kept shouting to me, man. I was like, yo, my bad, man. Did I fall out? Can you guys hear me? Hey, wait, can you hear me? Yeah, yo, shout out to my man Import. He said that's how we roll in Wyoming. Cowboys and Colt 45s are on a football team.
See, when you have a dense population like New York, I think about Friday where, sometimes you need to solve shit with your fists because that many people just bumping into each other all day long and you're carrying guns. I don't know, maybe even a more urban environment, that shit works, but where it's just humans constantly together.
Yo, AOH. I think we're losing AOH out here. Maybe we talking too much crazy stuff here. They trying to cut our stream. Yeah. So once again, shout out to all you guys. I don't know if you guys can hear me or see me still. I hope you guys still can. Yeah, we talk about, like I said, it was a crazy thing for someone like me. Like I said, coming from New York and being around that kind of environment, and then going down to San Antonio and having those Cowboys. Like I said, and this is no knock on like the Cowboys or any of this kind of stuff. To me, like I said, it bugged me out, man. I was like, yo, this crazy because it was one of those things where I feel like I said, you're almost in a scenario where like, do I try to tackle one of these guys just in case they trying to come in here and rob me or try to rob the store and they gonna try to shoot me? It's like I want to get to them. Like that's my reaction. If I've ever seen, or been around a scenario like that, man, where like, I want to try to either get to safety first, man, or I want to try to get to somebody, get you before you can get me. So if someone walks in carrying a gun openly, my immediate reaction is, yo, I'm about to tackle this guy to get up out of here, man. Like, what's going on right now? But in reality, these guys are just going to the store. They're going to buy milk. They're going to get a pack of cigarettes or something. It's no big deal. But like I said, when you put yourself in a scenario like that where you just have guns hanging out, man, and I'm from New York and I'm in a different state like this, yo, man, like I said, the hairs on the back of your neck start going up. Like I said, you start putting them in some nails where it's like, yo, hold on a second. I got to grab a weapon here and cold cock this dude when the man's just coming to the store minding his business.
Can you hear me? I know you can't see me, but at least maybe you can hear me.
Yeah, absolutely, Airways. We can hear you, man.
I have no fucking idea what's happening.
It don't matter. As long as we can hear you, man, we can hear you. We good. We can see the other screen.
Yeah, I threw something up there.
No, but we can see the third screen. We got the screen in the middle.
Okay.
Yeah, see, a lot of people out here, man. It's different in different states. As far as like I said, some of these the rules and the laws and what you're allowed to get away with. Once again, shout out to everybody in San Antonio. I remember we used to go down the street to get these breakfast burritos down there. Man, these things were sensational. So shout out to everybody down there in San Antonio, man.
Oh, that's all right. I'm not having that great of a hair day anyhow. You guys don't need to see me. Rise Above Anything says 6-0 is not overrated. Stop the cap. He's a clown.
That's right.
Yeah. Since
Not
you
to
can't
rise
see
above
me,
anything.
I saw in your thumbnails another goofy looking childish clown And I'm amazed that you spend time on these guys. Good for you. But boy, you LeBron fans don't do yourselves any favors when you show your faces. And I thought that this was him, and then I realized it just looks like him. But this is the lizard boy that I was talking about the other day. God damn. Oh, eyes on the sides of the head. Steve Nash, Tracy McGrady shit. Yeah,
Guys,
I
listen.
don't know. Maybe that makes you a better basketball player. More court vision. If that guy
Listen.
knows how to dribble without traveling, I'll be astonished.
This is what I'm saying. Listen. When you start talking about the things that you're saying, so like I said, like you just mentioned AOH, you talked about some of the comments, right? The comments preceded the person, what they looked like. So for a lot of these instances, I hear stuff that people, say. I hear it. I don't necessarily see what they look like, but someone sends me something and maybe I heard a clip or I saw some comment that someone put somewhere, but I don't necessarily know what they look like. But I can imagine in my mind, based off of what they wrote and what they said, that they didn't play sports like that. I can just tell by what they're saying because there's a certain perspective that comes with playing sports, growing up as a kid, no matter what level you went to. If you're a competitor, guys, because let's understand something. We've talked about this before. When we were growing up, a lot of us, as opposed to some of these younger kids, it wasn't just sports that we competed in. Everything was a competition, guys. Everything was trying to be cool in front of the girls. That's a competition, man. You're trying to show off. It didn't matter what it was. You're trying to climb a tree. You're going to try to climb it faster. You're going to try to go higher. Whatever it is that you were doing, you were going to try to do it better. You're on the monkey bars. You're playing dodgeball. We talked about dodgeball, right? People are going to try to be the best at that if you're really a competitor like that, if that's inside of you. So these are all the things that we have to talk about. This is the perspective that we're coming from. When we watch these guys do these certain things, we're relating it to the other eras and how we respond and react to this stuff. Some of these guys, I can tell what they're going to look like, and then you see what they look like. They're like 18 years old or 17, or they're in their early 20s. And, they, like I said, they look like they haven't been outside and seen the sun in a long, long time. And they haven't used their muscles or their bones or their bodies to do anything but basically walk back and forth to the bathroom. You know what I'm saying? So we have to understand, one of the lines that I always tell a lot of these people is I tell them to go outside and get some sun because you need it.
Yeah. Well, you never know, though. People can always surprise you. You never know, just like your Urlacher fight story. But I tell you what, if House of Highlights beat me in basketball, I would have to hang it up. I would never show my face again.
Yeah.
It would never happen though. It would never happen.
AOH, remember, when we talk about the participation trophy era and how a lot of these people are trying to raise their children, like I said, guys, I coach young kids currently. I have a young son. I have a daughter, man. Like I said, I've coached my son for years. So trust me, I'm right there with you guys. A lot of this stuff is nonsense, what they want to promote and, how you have to be. I tell you, I've gotten emails from parents and, people who look at me weird sometimes because I'm yelling at the kids and, I'm rah-rah and I'm all hyped up but I'm celebrating them the same way. But it's really funny, like I said, when we talk about this stuff and, the young kids out there and when we're talking about participation, a lot of these guys, someone like maybe Omar, he may have participated in basketball. He may have participated in baseball or football. Maybe he participated in a sport, soccer or volleyball or tennis or something like that. Maybe he participated in a sport, but he didn't play the sport. He didn't compete in that sport. There's a difference between participating in the sport or actually going out there and playing and competing in the sport.
I would like to catch up on some supers really quick. And Roland Curtis says, "You, the goat of the team with the worst plus minus." Oh, he's quoting L explicit.
Yes.
Spineless. Because every time you lose, you run. But when you win, it's handshakes, giggles, and hugs. Hey, we say this every week, but the fucking lyrics are really good.
Yep.
Thank you for that super chat and for shouting out L explicit. The real Siberius. Back. LeBron flops, cries, loses, misses, turns over the ball, team hops, builds super teams, and looks foolish. All better than Jordan. Yeah.
There you go. He found the things that he's better than Jordan at. Exactly. We could always go the other way with these things. You know, when they try to play these clips of LeBron James or of Michael Jordan, the low lights of Michael Jordan, I always laugh. If you guys want to go low light for low light, my God, man, AOH entire catalog is LeBron James, and this is regular game of video footage. It's just low light after low light.
I don't search either. I don't search. I just the most recent game. Hey, let's start watching.
Yep.
King's Speech. King's Speech. Are you still doing your live shows with Zay? He hasn't responded to like the last 3 emails I sent. Just FYI, it's fine. But I was curious if you guys are still going live. First one back is the elite rebounder. Neat.
Exactly. The man's never one time in an NBA season averaged more than 2 offensive rebounds for a season. Never once at 6'9" and this size. Never once. Go look at Michael Jordan. Go look at someone like Clyde Drexler, guys, and his offensive rebounding numbers. One of the great rebounders at his position, Clyde Drexler. Go look at the offensive rebound numbers of these guys, man. It puts LeBron James to shame.
Vivian McDowell Jimerson. Keep it coming with all the facts. I love the shows. Awesome. Well, we appreciate that, and we're here for you guys. So we
Yep.
like it when you chime in.
For real.
You know, we get energy when we realize that we're actually making progress against the cultists,
Yep.
and it's almost too good to be true in my mind when somebody actually converts. Because I always think that they're beyond hope, but there are some people out there. And
Yep.
you know, when you're young, you're impressionable, and the media worked its ass off to fool you. And you got
Yep.
these clowns like House of Highlights talking about better and greater. And if you want to believe something, you're like, oh, that's a good point. What the fuck does that fucking mean? When you have to say things like comparing better and greater, you've run out of actual evidence to use, and you're just talking nonsense. Just can we stop like debating words and look at them on the court?
Yep.
That's the end. That's the end. Jordan's worst game ever is more inspiring than LeBron's best because he is giving it all. LeBron is, we talked about the rebounding. We talked about him not actually guarding anybody, and he's able to be standing there in rebounding position. And then on the flip side of that, his positive, the offense, also comes at him shortchanging the team when he's taken off early in order to cherry pick.
Yep.
And when did he how did he come off early? By a blown defensive assignment, and the other team's going to score. But hey, look at LeBron at the other end, making a shot at the rim, the only place he can make him at sometimes.
Exactly, man. I mean, LeBron James is a mediocre rebounder, guys. Let's call it what it is. He's a mediocre rebounder at best at that position. Once again, when you use the word elite, when this guy says elite, he's an elite rebounder. Is he Moses Malone? He's not Moses Malone. That's an elite. Listen, only like
Nobody
10
said
guys.
that, did they?
Say what?
Did anybody? Nobody said he's better than Moses Malone, did they?
No. But what I'm saying is that to me, when I hear the word elite, you think about someone like Moses Malone. So, I mentioned earlier, not everybody could be a tough guy. Not everybody could be the baddest dude in the world, right? You have to understand these things. The same thing for the word elite. Not everyone can be elite. You can't use the word elite. See, the words are losing meanings, guys.
Yes,
They're
they
losing
are.
meanings.
Yes, they are.
Elite has to be designated for the elite rebounders, for maybe 5 to 10 guys. If you're one of the 5 to 10 greatest rebounders in NBA's history, then you're an elite rebounder. If you're one of the best rebounders at your position, then we can say you're an elite rebounder. LeBron James is neither. He's neither one of the best rebounds at his position or one of the 10 greatest rebounders in the history of the game. I can argue Jason Kidd is a greater rebounder. He's elite for his position. Well, I mean, what are we doing here?
Who's a greater air baller? I mean, look at that stat on the screen. That's crazy.
There you go. Air ball
Praise
free throws.
our guy, Praise the Dawn, is here. with a super chat. Thanks. He always coming through with the support. LeBron fans need to be locked away in a psycho ward. Yeah, cultists are dangerous.
Yep.
They wish ill and threaten anyone who doesn't have him as the GOAT. They're a danger to society. They're concerning, to put it mildly.
Yep. Exactly.
They
Exactly.
are
Shout out to Crazy
concerning.
Don, always coming through. Thank you.
It's another reflection on society. I know we do this, but it's like people turning toward random lies and just grabbing hold of them and saying, "I'm sticking to this," and don't try and fuck with the lie that I've chosen to believe, or I will come at you with violence.
Yep. Exactly.
The real Siberius again
Oh.
says, or again gifted a membership, a
Hey,
sports and fitness membership to Xav 3R. Boy, you can read that one.
I can't see it.
It
Oh,
doesn't roll off the tongue.
Xavier 88. I'm gonna say. I guess that's what it is.
Oh,
Hopefully, when I jack it
okay,
up.
yeah,
So shout
got
out to
him.
you for coming through. The Real Siberians, man, for gifting a membership. Like I said, it's truly humbling. Like I said, that you guys come through the live streams, you guys interact with us, you guys support the channels, you guys donate, the comments, all the interactions, the stories you guys share with us. Thanks a lot. Like I said, it means a lot, guys. Truly humbling. Thank you.
Hey, McZuggins, are you still listening? I'll answer a couple of your questions. He's going to start his own channel, and was
Oh,
asking for advice. I think some of it you asked about editing. They've come out with new stuff that makes it easy. Didn't Zay said he was using something called ClipCut or CapCut, which I believe was free. And yeah, I have Final Cut because I used to do video editing for other projects, but it is overkill. It's probably don't bother with that. So and as far as copyright and things like that go, I'm not even going to bother giving you any advice because the rules are changing. It's weird. Like I can't keep up with YouTube anymore.
yeah. They always, like I said, YouTube always out here trying to, silence people and hit you with weird stuff and, dictate essentially. Listen, we all know and we understand how the world works, guys. Right? We get this. Right? That's why I always tell people, man, you can't be concerned about some of these things in life, man, because those things are not really important, man. So, like we always say, that's why I thank everybody for coming through. People, starting their new channels and, putting their stuff out there and, understanding, that it takes time to, get a fan base, for maybe you to get your voice out here, for people to understand what you're trying to put out. And, like I said, when we talk about, some of these bigger platforms, like I said, the goal is always going to remain the same, regardless of the audience. I'm going to be saying the same thing. No matter where I am, I'm giving you guys the same facts. I'm giving you the same energy.
Top Dog says, "Are you guys taking calls today?" I think we probably will. The
Okay.
Wonton says, Meanwhile, Jordan never airballed a free throw. I can't confirm that. I mean, he never ever did. I believe you, but I can't confirm it. But
I mean, listen,
LeBron, I know for a fact LeBron has airballed the shit out of free throws. So
yeah, and I think that's the main point here is that, if Michael Jordan did shoot free throws from the free throw line, maybe he did, but it's really not that important. The one thing that we know that can't be denied is that we've seen Michael Jordan on several occasions shoot free throws with his eyes closed, and we've seen LeBron James try to do this. It didn't go so well for LeBron James, did it? I've also seen Michael Jordan go to the free throw line and shoot the free throws left-handed. So Michael Jordan was on a whole nother level.
didn't LeBron try and copy the eyes closed thing and then miss it?
Yep, badly. The
McZuggins,
crazy thing is that he airballs the free throws with his eyes open, close his eyes, and then skins the rim.
yeah.
You can't
when
call
did
it.
you think? When did you think you can graduate to eyes closed when you're missing shit with them open?
I mean, exactly. That's what we call AOH, lack of self-awareness.
Oh boy, does he have a lack of self-awareness?
He really
I
thought he was Michael Jordan in that moment. I mean, what would make you think in your right mind, in your career, understanding who you are at the free throw line, you're not Michael Jordan. You don't got the swag of that man. Like, my God, it's really sad.
McZuggins, you also asked about editing. It's a bitch. Editing is a time suck, but some of these guys have editors. I don't know how much they pay them or what it's like to get the content over to them, but I know what's his name down in LA. We've had him on a few times. What's the matter with me? Um, anyway, he has an editor, and he said he was going to answer my questions that I have about that, but I never asked him. But anyway, congratulations to McZuggins. You do have some great facts, and if you can put it all together on your channel, power to you. How is LeBron an elite rebounder with no rebounding titles? Well, gee, first of all, stop making sense, Roland.
How dare you, Roland?
Why do I need to read the rest of this comment? You know, what's more entertaining is imagining what LeBron fans are saying right now, the scramble that they're going on. They're probably threatening your life, Roland. But with a nice, generous super chat, let's continue to read this. An elite rebounder has 7 rebounding titles. Yeah, thank you. It's not just that he doesn't have one. You know, to be elite,
Right.
you need to have a few, several even. Like Rodman, just like an elite scorer has 10 scoring titles like MJ. By the way, what is LeBron elite at? Which we said earlier. What is he elite at? He's big and he can jump, which to me puts him in the highlight reel similar to a Daniel Gafford.
Yep.
LeBron James's Miami Heat years are the equivalent of Daniel Gafford highlight reels.
Oh God, that's hilarious. Listen, Roland Curtis, this is a great comment. Like I said, you guys always come through and really add to the show with your comments and like I said, and contributions this way. When you talk about the word elite, once again, right? We talked about this, not elite. And when you mention the rebounding titles for someone like Dennis Rodman, who is elite, obviously, and then you mention, like I said, you talk about all the things and you ask, what is LeBron James elite at? This is the conversation here. Because if we talk about rebounding, we know he's not elite at that. We often have to talk about the things that will make you elite. You have to be the greatest or one of the greatest at a certain aspect of the game. When you think about LeBron James, quote unquote, greatest strength, it's often they say his passing. But if you think about his passing, to me, LeBron James is not one of the top passers in the history of the game. They're trying to put him in that conversation, but he's not on that level. So really, is LeBron James an elite defensive player? No, even though he should be based off his size and athleticism, but he doesn't have elite effort on the defensive end. So you're not getting elite results. You're not elite consistently. You're not even good or great consistently. So you're not an elite defensive player. Is his leadership elite? He doesn't have elite leadership. He's not one of the top 3 or 5 leaders in NBA's history. Get the hell out of here with this freaking guy. They even try to say that LeBron James is one of the greatest dunkers in NBA's history. He's not an elite dunker that way. LeBron James has always been known for getting up high on his dunks. That's what they celebrate. Oh, look how high LeBron James got on his dunks. No doubt, man. LeBron James is a great athlete. But when you talk about the creativity, the authenticity of your dunks, the era you played in, who you're dunking the ball on, and what you could do, talking about competing in a slam dunk contest, that's what makes you elite. LeBron James is not one of them dudes.
Yeah. I can't argue the getting high part. He gets high on his dunks. What else he got? I mean, should there not be at least one more element to it than that if you want to be considered an elite dunker? And regardless of how high he gets, can you show me one where you start to have the illusion that he's flying? Because I don't see that. No matter how high he gets, I'm like, oh, he's not really flying the way that, Jordan made you be like, how in the fuck is he still up there? Barkley was an elite rebounder. Take away the flopping. What elite liar is LeBron James? An elite turnover specialist.
Yes, Mike Lowry.
And someone pointed out Gafford plays defense. So you're right. I kind of disrespected Gafford with the comparison. Elite at choking in the finals. He's an elite football player. Only if he's on the basketball court. He gets to play by football rules. Isn't his football? Someone said his football days are in high school are over exaggerated too, but I haven't looked into it.
I mean, they might be. LeBron James, I think was a really good, great football player in high school. But see,
Listen,
the
when you're in
thing,
high school, really quick, when you're down at that level of competition, if you're bigger and more athletic than other people, then that's pretty much the end of the story. You're going to beat those people. You don't have to be elite at anything. If you're bigger and athletic at that competition level, you're going to stand out. Am I wrong?
yeah, I mean, listen, high school football is very complicated when we talk about these kinds of things. So when we're talking about high school football and the hierarchy and, how maybe great or good you were in high school football, I know people around my way that might tell you that I was great at football, that I was amazing. They might tell you my brother who tried out for the NFL, they'll tell you how great he was. But we have to understand, man, in relation to who, in relation to where you played, right? Because there are different levels of high school football, man. Like I said, the area that I played high school football, it wasn't as big as some of the schools in Jersey, and what football meant to them, their stadiums and the money that their schools put in, the private schools. So these people are recruiting some kids in high school to play football at a Pop
Wow.
Warner. So you have
No
to understand
shit.
the dynamic here. If you think about
Things
let's
have
go back to
changed.
Texas again. Shout out to Texas. High school football in Texas is like college football, man. I mean, my goodness, it's insane to talk
Wow.
about what they do for these teams. So LeBron James may have been really good or great in high school football, but like I said, there's levels to this, man. The problem I have with LeBron James trying to compare himself as a football player or people trying to hype up his high school career and say that he would have been a great football player just based off of that, he doesn't give you that mindset that way. I don't get the mentality from LeBron James as being a football player. He doesn't come across as tough enough to be a football player, which is why he ultimately didn't. Let's compare him to someone real quickly, to Allen Iverson, who is an outstanding high school football player. I lived in Virginia Beach for a lot of years when I was in the military, guys, and I used to hear legendary stories from Allen Iverson when he played high school football. He was a quarterback, and they talked about what he could do, the dynamics of him. But if we think about Allen Iverson and someone said to you, hey, imagine if Allen Iverson went and played in the NFL, does anyone doubt that he could play in the NFL mentally? No, because you obviously have seen how tough Allen Iverson is. So I can see Allen Iverson maybe not being the greatest quarterback of all time or being the amazing quarterback, but I can see him playing in the league because he had the mentality to be tough enough to do this.
Praise the Dawn, tying football back in, is the Aaron Rodgers of the NBA. Aaron Rodgers has a lot of problems, but I wouldn't even knock Aaron Rodgers down to LeBron's level. Speaking of it, he's on the Steelers this season?
Aaron Rodgers, yes.
Has he taken any snaps in preseason?
He's not playing any preseason games, no.
Not even a little bit.
Nope.
Okay.
But that's a normal thing for Aaron Rodgers that he's done. I think there's like a couple of seasons that he's done this in a row, not taking any preseason snaps. I mean, let's be real. Aaron Rodgers, he's on his last legs, man. He's frail as hell right now. When Aaron Rodgers went down with that Achilles, man, I was shocked. I was watching that game. I was hyped up for the Jets, man. I was like, yo, let's see what the Jets are going to do. Aaron Rodgers, man, come on. And then the first freaking play, this man goes down. And the way he went down was just, it seemed like nothing to me. I mean, like I said, he's really on the last legs right now.
I'll admit I was curious. No matter how I feel about Aaron Rodgers, I was curious how the Jets were going to do. I mean, it's a story. Aaron Rodgers has past success. Let's see what happens, and then nothing happens, an injury. Hey, while you read McZuggins here, I'm gonna go grab a beer in order to be prepared for taking calls. Are you still down to take calls, or shall we wrap it up?
No, we can do a couple calls here.
Okay.
All right, man. So shout out to McZuggins for coming through as always, man. Thank you very much, McZuggins. Like I said, true supporters of our live streams, of the channels, everything that we do out here. Like I said, I hope we continue to, give you guys the facts and, like I said, to do the things that you guys want us to do out here, man. It means a lot. And he says, as I said privately, you two, Siberius, Jim, King Speech, and everyone in this chat prove that people do still care about basketball.
Sweetheart.
Cheers to everyone and thank you. Shout out to McZuggins. Absolutely, guys. Remember, that's what it's about. I did a video earlier about Dwayne Wade and his comments in relation to the fans, right? And, we're out here as fans of basketball because remember, guys, it's not about the NBA. It's basketball that we're fans of, that we all enjoy playing. Like I said, I still play basketball to this day. I love playing. I love sweating. I love competing. I love going out there and banging into people, man. Like I said, it's just great. We all love this game. So when we're talking about these players and Dwayne Wade saying that we don't know about the game and we shouldn't speak because we never played in the NBA, that's an asinine statement. And once again, he's not living in reality and he lacks self-awareness. He's acting as if he was never a fan. He's acting as if we don't play the same game that he plays. None of us are ever saying that we can play in the NBA today, that we can go out there and school these guys. I have over 3,000 videos. I've never once said I can beat any of these guys one-on-one. I could play in the NBA. I should have been in the NBA. I'm not giving you a sob story here. Oh, man, I got robbed when I was in high school, man. My high school coach didn't give me the ball enough. You know, this guy and that, I didn't play with nobody that was good. You don't hear me talking this nonsense. We are all living in reality here. They're always compared to their contemporaries, man. The fans always have been part of the game. The fans are always going to be part of the game. And the past players that we celebrate, remember, I'm telling you, we're celebrating these guys. We're celebrating them. They don't owe me anything. I owe them because they respected us enough to go out there and compete, man, because they respected us enough to do this. Now today, these guys act as if we're not part of the game and that we can't speak or have an opinion or understand basketball because we are just fans. If you go on the court right now, you guys know what a travel is. You know what a carry is. You're playing basketball. You go get hurt right now in the basketball court playing basketball. You may not be in the NBA, but you can still get hurt just like they could.
The Real Siberius with another super chat. Thank you so much. Uncommon released a video today about LeBron fans claiming Jordan flopped. It's an embarrassment. You guys should see it if you haven't. I've gone and looked at the fanboy ones because I was curious. I'm like, what did they find? Jordan got dropped. It looked pretty real to me, but thank you. Yeah, Uncut Hoops is always worth checking out. We have our first caller of the day. Thank you, by the way, Real Siberius.
Yeah, my man, 20 grand.
Hello,
man,
welcome.
Hey, can y'all hear me?
I can hear you well.
Hey, what's up to y'all? Thank y'all for holding it down, man. So I hit up Paul from the basketball show. He said he gonna try to come through on the Sunday live. So
Well,
like if y'all see him in the comments, take him live.
Yes.
And
he just wants to call in because if he wants
he say he gonna call in.
All right.
Okay, well, he can also email if he wants to plan ahead of time, but if he wants to just spontaneously chime in, then he can do that too.
Yeah, okay. And I want to say this, and I'm gonna be out. What y'all think? What's y'all thoughts on this right here? So, Michael Jordan, I think he got asked, was he the greatest of all times 3 times? LeBron James,
At least.
if y'all notice, nobody never asked him in an interview, is he the greatest of all time? He always bring it up himself and be like, yeah, that made me the greatest basketball player of all time. I think I'm the best that everybody that has ever seen. So what's y'all thoughts on that? I'm going to tune out and I'm going to watch the show.
Hey, I appreciate you coming through.
Yo, shout out to my man 20 grand for coming through, man. Thank you.
I mean, that's almost too easy. Number one, the classiness of Michael Jordan. He had the intelligence to say, I haven't played against all of these guys that are potentially GOATs, so who am I to say that I'm the best? And, LeBron, as you said, was never actually asked. And rarely do you have to ask LeBron before he compliments himself. He always finds a way to fucking compliment himself. He always does.
Right.
Which shows his insecurity. I mean, only insecure people do shit like that. But he waits. Or three rings, which I don't, I think that his rings are questionable personally. But I'd like to know how the hell he gets to be in the GOAT debate after 3 rings. I think you have to get to 5 or 6 or so before a journalist would actually ask you that, hey, maybe you're in the GOAT conversation. At 3 rings, not only does an actual journalist not ask him, he goes on his own goddamn show surrounded by his buddies in order to do it. Can you get more disgusting and insecure than that?
Yep.
I can't believe he wasn't just shamed out of the league after he did that. I was so angry at the Warriors still that no matter how much that was rigged or cheat or whatever, I was still so disgusted because at that point in time, LeBron James should have just disappeared from existence, and instead he was resurrected. I still haven't forgiven the Warriors, to be honest. Um,
Wow.
The
Hey,
pain from AOH. He feels so much pain. He's hurt. That file's hurt, man, because that was some nonsense, man.
hey, hey, sports and finish rants. What's your thoughts on? I already know your thoughts on him having that orange purse. But what's your thoughts on LeBron wearing those pearls around his neck at the ESPYs? The man had on some pearls. I just noticed that. I'm like, is that some pearls? That's what
that was a
rich white women wear. What's your thoughts
that,
on that, sports and fitness rants?
Yo,
that was a gift from his boyfriend before he went on stage.
yo, shout to my man, 20 grand, man, 20K for coming through and hitting me with this question. This is fantastic. Listen, when we talk about LeBron James, man, I've been telling you guys from the start. This is what we're saying when I tell you that he's a soft, feminine dude, man. This is what he projects. This is the energy that he's putting out here. So when we talk about the supporters and you're talking about the pearls on the neck and some of the things that he wears, the way he acts on the basketball court, he acts like a woman out there on the court. He's always crying and moaning, always playing the victim for something. This is why I say I can't get behind and support someone like LeBron James, man. I stand for too much to be someone that's going to support this kind of nonsense. So you run the money 20K when you talk about the pearls and how this comes across and LeBron James and the feminine ways and the energy that he gives off. Everyone that surrounds him is the same.
I'm gonna let somebody else ask y'all some questions. Peace out, y'all.
Cool. Hey, thank you. Hey, thanks for keeping it short. We do have three more callers that I can see. Maybe there's more King's Speech. Let's see if it actually works
Yeah.
this week. Muting you, and I'm adding.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, it works. It works.
Yes, let's roll.
Sorry about the background noise. I'm in a car. I'm down here in Brazil. But yeah,
Are you really?
I talked to Zay yesterday, man. Zay is cool. He's doing he's doing his editing thing and all of that, and we're trying to go live like once a week. We got to figure out when. I do my own show twice a week,
Oh, cool.
and yeah, we had a pretty crazy one last night. But yeah. Again, when I say I titled it 6-0 is overrated. I titled it 6-0 is overrated because it's like using just 6-0 is not telling the whole story, man.
Yep.
You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
Jordan's dominance and just the way they're both prepared to get to that, and it's why they try to use it against him.
Yep.
It's like, it's more. His whole story is more than 6-0. You understand what I'm saying? So again, if we like House of Highlight, they can say that all they want, but they're not really, they're not really telling a story. If we break down 4-6, LeBron is lucky he's not 2-8. You understand what I'm saying? Jordan, the plays that he made, the steal on Malone, the steal on Barkley. I mean, the 41 points a game against Phoenix. That's telling the story. Because Robert Ory is 7-0. That's overrated. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, I just I'm out here doing the thing, and these fanboys keep moving the goalposts, and I'm here to knock them down every time they do. You know what I'm saying?
Word.
Hey,
For
good to hear
real.
from you, King's
I don't know
Speech.
if y'all hear me
Yeah, man.
going in and out.
Oh,
Thanks for coming through.
All right, you
good.
can background me for now. I'm headed. You can background me for now because I'm probably rolling through coverage.
All right, man. Enjoy Brazil. And we have Bookie Allen is calling in. You're on, Bookie.
What up, man? I'm so tired of him and LeBron and Kevin Durant, the two soft, sensitive dudes. They need to just go away. Just go away.
Word.
They disrespect the fans.
Yep.
They lowered the standard. I don't count none of them reads. Them two goofs got the way they went on that podcast and disrespected Michael Jordan is so
Yep.
disingenuous.
Yep.
Man, they just some soft sensitive dudes that lowered the standard. Kevin Durant, what this is 15 and what since he left the Warriors, he he's nothing without Steph Curry. He's been exposed. LeBron has been exposed as playing with all these Hall of Famers and still got a losing record in the playoffs and the finals. They
Yup.
just too they know nobody respect their careers. That's why they always going online or arguing with the fans. Nobody respects them cheap rings they won.
You know, they have someone like LeBron James, or I mean Michael Jordan, to look up to in terms of being a professional.
Yup.
When
Exactly.
he was asked questions, these guys don't even. I mean, we're way past that. We're just way past that. Not only are they not looking up to a correct role model, but they're shitting on the correct role model. I mean,
Yup.
we're in some dark days. I think he took off on his own, or he dropped, but I didn't drop you, if you're wondering. Mike Lowry's waiting. Let's bring in Mike Lowry.
Bring him in.
Hello, Mike. You're on. Uh,
Mike, we can't hear you. Can you hear us?
Hey,
there
what's
we go.
happening, fellas? Can y'all
Yes,
hear
There
me?
sir.
we go. Gotcha. Gotcha.
Can you hear me?
Go
Yep.
ahead.
Let's roll.
Yeah, it's a weird delay going on. I don't know what's up with this new format.
We won't
I don't know what's up
interrupt
with
you.
this new format. I can't
Just
hear. It's like it's all messed up.
Just go, Mike.
just
We hear
talk.
you.
Just talk.
It's all messed up. Just go. All right, that's a bet. I can just go though. You know, thanks for having me on. By the way, I mean I've been trying to get on for a while, and I hate to go political, and I know like a lot of people like, kind of it's tired of hearing the political kind of crap. But if y'all can see, I'm in D.C. You know, and so we're dealing with a lot of political stuff here right now, and mainly the thing I wanted to point out is kind of what the last gentleman was talking about when it comes to a lot of the players feel entitled and things like that. This is more of a societal issue that that's kind of infected the NBA. And it's funny because to me, LeBron was like Donald Trump before he ran for president. He's almost like that. But I know that's a hard that's a hard stretch, but it seems it's like with the lying, the deceit, it was almost embedded in American society that this is the way to succeed. And now that now people are taking it on all aspects of society, especially as like you know the political spectrum.
Well, look at presidential debates. Presidential debates started looking like reality shows. Like people weren't conducting
I'm gonna
themselves.
let y'all go because there was a huge delay, and I want to hear
Okay.
your response, AOH. So I'm gonna let y'all go. Peace out. Hopefully this gets better, and we can have a back and forth. But
Yeah.
I just want to hear you guys' response. I'm gonna go ahead and slide, y'all. Peace.
Uh, thanks, Mike Lowry, for calling in.
Yeah, thanks, Mike, for coming through, man.
Yeah, people hate bringing up the politics on here. Um, and I avoid it hard. It's not easy to avoid it, but I don't know. You're pretty good at not addressing it too. If we change the Sunday show to Angry Old Rants, though, I don't know if we're gonna avoid it anymore.
Well, I think that when you talk about quote unquote politics, like I said, I'm not into politics and I don't consider myself a politician, you know. And when I think about politicians in general, I don't think you could trust any of them. I don't give a damn what party they belong to. Like I tell you, I live in the world of common sense and I live in reality, man. So once again, I try to conduct myself and live my life through values and principles that were instilled in me. That has nothing to do with, like I said, politics, man. Like I said, to me, having common sense, either you have common sense or you don't. We've all seen people out here that are freaking idiots, man. So, like I said, and I try to live in the world of common decency. I try to be a decent human being, and I try to treat people with a certain level of respect, and I try to put out certain energies and hope that I'll get the same in return. But we all understand that the world is a weird place, man, and the world is jacked up sometimes. It doesn't make any sense sometimes. And obviously, the world is not quote unquote fair. But the world's never going to be fair. Who gives a goddamn if the world is fair, man? It really doesn't freaking matter, man. But the one thing I always say, that you can't make excuses. You can't play the victim in this world because life is hard, guys. Life is hard. But that doesn't mean that life is not great because that's why life is great, because life is hard at sometimes, right? And life is unpredictable, and you never know what's around the corner, so to speak. So to me, that's what makes the life so precious and so great. And try, and I tell people on my channel to wake up with some level of positivity, man, and try to put some level of positive energy out there by taking care of yourself physically, because that helps you with the mental also.
You know, it was a week or two ago that I mentioned tweeting, and I don't like tweeting. I don't like the players tweeting, and if I don't like them tweeting, then I don't like seeing our political leaders tweeting. And somebody said, "Oh, there he is getting political." Look, look, don't make it political. Make it a man thing. Make it a leader thing.
Right.
How much time are you spending on Twitter and worrying about what other people are saying? I just don't. I wouldn't want my dad on Twitter. Okay. Let's put it like that. I wouldn't want my fucking dad on Twitter. I don't know. How do you feel? Like I would.
Yeah, I mean, like you said though, AOH, see, they're turning reality, they're turning just common sense things, and they're turning things, like I said, when you talk about values and principles, AOH, the things that we're talking about here, and people mention the word politics, it's been misconstrued and it's all messed up now and weird, because politics is supposed to be policy type stuff. It's supposed to be things based off of policy. What do you believe policy-wise? Well, my politics say that my policy is based off of this. Everything's supposed to be policy. Now, we've turned common sense issues, we've turned civil things into political forums. When if you stand on a value or a principle, I keep telling you guys this stuff, man. I'm not making this stuff up. This stuff works in the world. You don't have to have politics on your corner. I never voted a day in my life. I refuse. I'll never vote. What am I voting for? The Electoral College? What does that mean? That I have to be in line with everyone else in my state, essentially. It doesn't make any sense, guys, to me. When people try to sell you on this idea that every vote counts, then what are you talking about? No, it doesn't. It doesn't make a difference. That's why they have these blue states and these red states. Why do you think that is? Because every vote doesn't count individually. Because if that was the case, then other people would not have been elected when they were, because they didn't have a quote-unquote popular vote. Because if it really was a democracy, and we really said, hey, these are your two candidates, who votes for you is the most, who you win, that means every vote counts. When you were a kid, what did they do in class? Who wants to do this? Show of hands. You raise your hand. Whoever had the most raised hands, everyone else had to go do what they didn't want to do. We're talking about living in a society, ladies and gentlemen. You have to sacrifice certain things in a society. Society can bend to the will of the few, of the minority all the time. That doesn't make any damn sense. But all of a sudden now we've turned common sense principles, standing on honor, integrity, class, and earning respect into nonsense.
Roland Curtis brings us back to basketball. Ori's 7-0 is definitely overrated. Russell's 11-1 might be overrated. Pippen's 6-0 might be overrated. But because of the undisputed 6-0 finals MVP awards, MJ's 6-0 cannot be overrated, in my opinion. And we've got Leo Zacharari and the real Siberius waiting in the wings. You want to respond to Roland Curtis?
What'd he say? I didn't see anything on the screen.
Oh,
Oh,
about Robert Ory.
yeah, no, I mean, listen, man, we talk about a lot of this stuff, man. That's them not being educated. You know, when we mentioned earlier about LeBron James using the platform to, pump himself up as the greatest of all time, he's taking away from his chance, from the platform that he has, to promote other players. I've said on my channel before, Michael Jordan brought up guys like Oscar Robertson and Jerry West and Will Chamberlain so often when he spoke that I had to actually find out and ask about these guys all the time. And you understood when you heard their name come up again. You're like, oh, wow, I keep hearing this guy Will Chamberlain come up. I keep hearing Michael Jordan mention Jerry West. He must have been really great because he's mentioning these guys.
Leo, let's bring you in.
Hey guys, thank you very much for having me. Sorry the camera doesn't work. My computer updated and now nothing works. So
don't worry about it, man. We can hear you.
That's fine. I wanted to talk about culture and everything you guys are saying, and everything that guy Mike Lowry, I think his name was saying is really what I wanted to talk about. We have this problem, and I want to give two quick examples. The players back then they aspired to be great. You know, the late great Walter Payton said, "When you're good at something, you tell other people. When you're great at something, people tell you." Okay, and he was one of my heroes growing up. You have to overcome adversity. That's what makes heroes, right? When people act heroically. If you look at Novak Djokovic, the tennis player, he's from Serbia. He grew up in the '90s with the whole Bosnia, Serbia, the whole war going on. When he was practicing on the court, there were literally artillery shells falling a couple of blocks away, and they had to evacuate. This made him mentally tough. Okay, so the two quick examples I want to bring up, and you'll see where I'm going with this. 1979, Los Angeles Rams. You had Jack Youngblood, defensive end. He broke his leg the final game of the season. Okay, and he said, "Give me some aspirin, tape it up, and I'm going to continue playing." Right? Because the Rams made the playoffs. He was the captain of the defense. He played 3 playoff games, including the Super Bowl, on a broken leg. Okay, that's tough enough, right? But what's even more important, and what goes to my point, is why he did it. Okay, he was the captain of the team, and he said, "I didn't want to let my teammates down. I didn't want to let my team down." That's what was important to him. Okay, that's the kind of people we used to have. We used to have heroes. And this is the really big example here. It's not just men. Okay, everybody remembers the 1996 Olympics in Atlanta, the women's gymnastic team, Carrie Strug. I don't know anything about gymnastics, okay, but I know the story. Carrie Strug was part of the Olympics gymnastics team, and they basically were favored to win the gold, and they were about to be bounced out. Okay, she had already done a vault, and she sprained her ankle and had torn ligaments in her ankle. Okay, and her coach went to her and said, "Can you go again? We need you. We need you to go for the gold. Everything is riding on the line." So she hits this vault on one leg. She lands on one leg and wins the gold. And there's that famous shot of the coach, Bella Caroli, carrying her off the floor, right? Now, I want you to contrast that with the video footage of LeBron James of 2014 NBA Finals being carried off because he has cramps, okay? This is the difference here, okay? LeBron James, we're told over and over, he's the greatest. He's in the best condition. He's the greatest athlete ever. Why was he the only one getting cramps and being carried off? Okay, 2 different pictures there. Both people were carried off, but for very, very different reasons. Carrie Strug was 90 pounds. She is small enough to fit in LeBron's big orange man purse, and she has more guts than he ever will. And so this is the problem. There are great players today. There's definitely really talented players. There's great players, no doubt about that. But here's the problem.
Uh-oh.
What happened?
I don't hear him anymore.
What happened?
Oh, can you guys hear me now?
Oh,
Yeah.
there you are.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. The problem is that today's players, they don't aspire to be great, and therefore they don't inspire others to be great.
Yep. Yo, you
Thank
came
you.
with the heat, Leo.
Thank you, Leo. Appreciate
Yes.
it.
My man, y'all always come with the heat. I'm telling you, man, you guys have great insight. Some of the information that you add to the live stream, like I said, it's fantastic. Thank you, Leo.
I want to talk about the chat that's on the screen because my girlfriend was actually watching the Dallas Cowboy show with me, and I said something about Emmitt Smith playing with that injury, and she brought up Ronnie Lott because she's a big Niner fan, has been for a long time, and she brought up immediately Ronnie Lott cutting off the tip of his finger. And as Gogo Fly says, Ronnie Lott cutting off the top of his severed finger in a game is actually different, like the kids say today. And I was wondering exactly how much of his finger did he cut off? I need to look it up. I don't know if the details are there. And the fact that I'm guessing it was because it was going to get in the way, or they're going to waste time bandaging it or whatever. But when you want to stay in the game badly enough that you just get rid of the annoying piece of your body that is dangling.
You're right. Remember, ladies. Remember, there's levels to this stuff. You talk about a lot of these guys. That's the thing. The consistency of their toughness, it couldn't be denied.
I'm
Like I
looking
said,
it up.
you had to be tough. There was no excuses, man. That was the prerequisite for you to play these sports. You had to be tough.
The top portion of his left pinky finger amputated. The procedure removed the tip. Right. I'm not going to find the answer quickly, but I appreciate the comment. Um, it's definitely that is different, and the hit's different, and that's fire. People use words now, and it's supposed to explain everything, and like you're overusing them, and you're overusing them at a rapid pace to where they actually don't mean anything. Like hater, Jesus Christ, is there anything more overused than hater?
Right. Exactly.
Um, McZuggan says. Oops, I put the wrong thing up. McZuggan says plumbers and firemen was started by J.J. Redick in 2022.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, those were the men who would cut off their fingertips to keep playing rather than sit out because they sprained their pinky while taking max contracts.
And remember, we have to understand, why did J.J. Redick start using terms like plumbers and firemen, right? Why was he using these things? Because back in the 50s and the 60s, right, and some of these other eras, guys had to work jobs in the off season. They had to work side jobs to support themselves and their families. So we've often talked about this as far as how people view society, right? It's a societal problem. You're acting as, once again, an elitist. You're actually looking down and putting your nose up to common folks that have to go out there and earn it. You're actually laughing at guys who had to be professional basketball players, all meanwhile being plumbers or taxi cab drivers or any of these other professions that they try to talk about. Is that makes you less than a basketball player or less than a person? I don't understand. Like I said, to me, that enhances those guys.
Let's bring in the real Siberius real quick. Are you
Yes.
still with us? I
Can
know
you
it's
hear
been
me?
a while.
Yes.
I can.
Perfect. All right. I won't take up a lot of your guys' time. I just wanted to bring up something that has kind of been going around the YouTube basketball world, and it's NBA players hating the NBA fans.
Yep.
Kevin Durant, Dwayne Wade, LeBron, Gilbert Arenas have all basically called out the fans and are blaming them for the lack of viewership, for the critique that the league receives. And so I just want to pose a question to the panel and to the chat as a whole. What is there to be a fan of? Like, I'm not understanding what is supposed to attract me to this game in the modern era.
Yeah, and how dare you not be attracted to it? I mean, they've made it unattractive. And then instead of taking accountability for the fact that they've made it unattractive, they're blaming the fans for
Yep.
actually not watching something that's unattractive. Look, the bottom line is if people are entertained, they'll probably throw their morals and ethics out the window and keep watching. If the product is good, then that's going to solve it. The product is not good. And you guys demanding max contracts and complaining about money and podcasting while your performance on the court is lackluster, and then turning around and blaming the people that you stole money from. I mean, let's be honest. There's NBA players are stealing from the fans at this point and still have the nerve
Absolutely.
to be mad at the fans. So I agree with you. What is there to be
I mean, this
attracted
is
to?
that's a great question. Once again, shout out to the real Siberius for coming through and once again adding to the live stream as always. When you talk about the disconnect between the fans and the players now, it's because, like you're saying, the fans actually are asking, how do we have the audacity to actually hold them to a standard? Who the hell are we to critique them? And who the hell are we? We are actually the people who are supporting you fools. We're actually the ones that have been watching this stuff from back in the day. Because apparently a lot of these guys that play in the NBA today, they weren't watching basketball back in them days. They weren't. You can tell. Like I said, it doesn't understand. So we're once again holding you to the same standard. That's all it is. No one's out here talking that we think we're better basketball players than you clowns. These guys are a joke right now. The way they're trying to act because we're the fans. We can't understand basketball all of a sudden. Like they were never fans of basketball. They just all of a sudden end up in the NBA because they were never fans of the sport. Like it doesn't even add up. These guys sound like a bunch of idiots.
I completely agree. And I've been a fan longer than most of these players have been alive. And then you're going to question my dedication to the game, my love for the game. Fuck you.
Hey, real
Absolutely.
Siberius, we appreciate it. Thank you so much for your support and for calling in.
Yep.
Yo, man, for real. I mean, they act like they keep, like you said, they're using the word hater when it comes to the old heads, right? The quote unquote old heads. But we're not hating on basketball. What we're hating on is the fact, or not even hating, what we're talking about is the fact that these guys are not living up to the standard. And they're actually thinking, who the hell do we think we are?
18 Anime 89 supports us with a super chat saying, great show. And I love when the callers come with facts. Mike Lowry says the finger had frostbite on it, so no big deal. I think he's being funny. I mean, even if it did have frostbite, still, today's players aren't going to do that. He cut his finger off to play. Let's see. We've got Roland Curtis waiting, and then I think we're going to wrap it up.
Yeah.
What's up, fellas? What's up, guys? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thanks for being here.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate what you guys do, Sports and Fitness Rants and AOH. Thank you for these shows. You guys do a great job. I wanted to touch on something that AOH talks about a lot. I first heard you mention it maybe a year or two ago when you guys used to do that Sunday show with 6 or 7 of you guys, and it's the topic of Kobe Bryant. At one point, people were positioning him to be greater than Michael Jordan, right? And I've always had my speculation as to why those talks ended, and I just wanted to run it by you guys and see what you guys think. So and I think it was really two incidents. So 2003, I call was a very pregnant moment in that year where so many things were happening at one time. So in April, you have Michael Jordan retiring for the final time with the Washington Wizards. Yep. Then 2 months later, you have LeBron James being drafted into the NBA. And then 3 weeks later, you have Kobe Bryant catching that case in Colorado. So those 3 things happen within the span of maybe 3 months. Mm-hmm. And so when that happens to Kobe Bryant, the NBA and all these different endorsements have somebody else immediately to jump to because he was just drafted a month or 3 weeks before that issue happened with Kobe Bryant. So that was off the court. And I think that's one thing that separated Kobe away from Michael, okay? And then also allowed LeBron to kind of slip in. But as far as on the court, so it was really a lot of people remember Mark Jackson saying in 2006 during the playoffs that when all is said and done, Kobe will go down as the greatest player of all time. And I wanted to ask you guys, because you guys never talk about it. Michael Jordan's never talked about it. We talk about what happened to Kobe Bryant at Game 7 in 2006. So before that series started, Mark Jackson said that thing about Kobe will go down as the greatest player. At the end of either that series or the end of that Western Conference Finals, Mark Jackson had this thing where he tells people you're better than that. He said, Mark Jackson, you said that Kobe Bryant was going to be the greatest ever? Come on, Mark Jackson, you're better than that. So he pretty much retracted what he said about Kobe Bryant. And to this day, when you ask Mark Jackson, he'll tell you Michael Jordan is the greatest of all time. So I think between those two situations, and I always wanted to ask you guys, because I've never heard you guys talk about, when we talk about like players quitting, things like that, I can't imagine Michael Jordan doing where Kobe stopped shooting in Game 7. Like, that was the year he scored 81 points, right, in the regular season. We were all assuming, I'm in LA, we were all assuming this guy's going to drop 100 points to make sure, right, just the way when he lost to the Boston Celtics, you like, okay, I'm gonna lose, but you're gonna take 63 points on your head, and that's all everybody's gonna talk about for the rest of all of time. They're gonna talk about that I lost this series. They're gonna talk about how I dropped 63 in game two. I dropped 49 in game one. I did a triple double in game three. So we thought that Kobe was going to do the same thing, and instead he did that thing where he stopped shooting, and Charles Barkley and other legends criticized him. Even his explanation for why he did it didn't make sense. So I wanted to, I'll take your answer off the air, but I just wanted to ask you guys, what do you think about my speculation for why Kobe was separated from Michael Jordan, and what did you think about what Kobe did in that game seven against the Phoenix Suns when he was up 3-1? And it's okay. It's okay if he lost. I'm okay with that. I don't care about it. It's the way he lost and the way he played in that game seven. So thank you for taking my call. I'll take your answer off the air. Appreciate it.
Cool. Thank you, Roland. I got three things because he has three pieces there. It's
Yeah.
number
There's a
one.
lot right there.
Number one was inserting Kobe into the GOAT conversation, which a lot of people don't even remember took place, but it did. And the only answer I can give is to keep fans interested, because it seems to be very important to be saying that we are in fact possibly witnessing the GOAT or the next Jordan or whatever. And then with that same thought in mind, I'll say that's why they removed him from it, because it was time to consider somebody else the next Jordan, whether it was or wasn't. So that's the simplest way I can answer the first part, because at the time that they first started talking about Kobe surpassing Jordan, he was nowhere near even the 5 rings. So it was premature. But they wanted to start the narrative. No matter how you feel about Kobe now, at that time, it was premature, at least in my opinion. To his last point about the game where he stopped, I remember an article that came out, something along the lines, it was pretty harsh. The one time we wanted you to keep shooting, you didn't. And I remember that because I was a Kobe critic, and I was like, yeah, this guy's getting it from both ends. Because I thought that he was a high volume shooter and maybe not that efficient.
Right.
I can't honestly bring the numbers to tell you. I just know that I criticized him. And then there was that case in which he stopped shooting, and a lot of people were upset about it. So that's what I remember, is that there was actually an article even that criticized him about it. And I don't know if was he doing it in response to people calling him a ball hog or shooting too often. He said, well, here's what I can do, and I'm going to stop now because I don't like the criticism. I hope you have a better, more accurate memory of it than me, because that's all I've got.
Well, this is where I'm coming from as to what was said here as far as Kobe Bryant, the questions that were asked to us. Like you said, there was a lot to unpack there. The first thing I'll start off by saying is the popularity or lack of popularity because of for Kobe Bryant because of the Colorado incident and some of the issues that he had going on off the court. When we think about a scenario like that for Kobe Bryant, I think that had something to do with it. But also, let's not forget that Kobe Bryant was attempting to try to outdo Michael Jordan by doing Michael Jordan. So I think a lot of people, popularity-wise, were not really fully on board with Kobe Bryant attempting to out Michael Jordan. Some Michael Jordan fans, I remember a lot of Michael Jordan fans, not that they quote-unquote hated Kobe Bryant, but they were never really a fan or going to root for Kobe Bryant that way because you thought he was trying to copy Michael Jordan to a degree. So the thing that bothers me a lot of times that people talk about with Kobe Bryant, as far as they bring up Colorado sometimes, especially LeBron James fans, they love to bring up these weird scenarios and act as if Kobe Bryant wasn't perfect. Whoever said Kobe Bryant was perfect. See, that's the thing. Kobe Bryant was never perfect. He was not perfect. No one ever said he was perfect. None of these guys are perfect, but they love to highlight when Kobe Bryant wasn't perfect, which leads me into the scenario you're talking about with the Phoenix Suns. Let's be real here. This scenario for Kobe Bryant in his career is why Kobe Bryant, to me, is not the greatest player of all time, which is why he has no argument over a Michael Jordan, because of moments like that in his career. Does that mean that Kobe Bryant is worse than LeBron James or he's this or that? No, it just means to me that's why he's not greater than someone like Michael Jordan, because you had moments like this in your career that Michael Jordan didn't have. Quite simply, when we talk about quote-unquote perfection, We can all agree that Michael Jordan's the closest thing to that as far as resume and basketball career-wise. So ultimately, I think that's kind of the things that hurt Kobe Bryant. But for Kobe Bryant, to me, in my opinion, he has become greater to me when I've looked into his career more closely. Because to me, what he did going to 3 straight NBA finals and winning those back-to-back NBA finals at that point in time in his career, after he had those several seasons where everyone was like, oh, what's up with Kobe Bryant? He looks like he might just be a shot-chucking ball hog that's not going to do anything. He called them Michael Jordan, and Michael Jordan told him to figure it out. Well, guess what? Kobe Bryant figured it out, y'all. So we got to give him a lot of props for doing that.
Why did he stop shooting in that 81-point game?
Because Kobe Bryant had a moment. That's why. Kobe Bryant
Okay.
did what he did.
Okay.
It's a Kobe Bryant moment. He deferred to his teammates. You see, let's be real. Once again, Kobe Bryant let the emotions take over. And what did he do in a scenario? He said, okay, everyone says I shoot too much or I'm doing this or that. Then I'm going to defer to everyone. Let them do it. And I'll show you it's not going to work. So we can't get inside the mind of Kobe Bryant and really know for certain what he did or why the game and the scenario played out the way it did. But like I said, that goes to why, for me, there is no argument for Kobe Bryant over a Michael Jordan, right? There's another scenario.
Got some super chats to go through really quick, and then we'll wrap it up. We're going to be on 2 hours here.
Yeah.
Heath Overledger. More respect deserved than Labalco. Baylor, West, Barkley, Ewing, Robinson, Duncan, Irving, Rick Barry, Moses, Clyde, Willis Reed, Thurmond, Hondo, Maravich, McCann, Petit, Al Green, Gervin. You could have kept going, but I appreciate you dropping those names.
Yeah, great name drops, Heath Overledger. Thank you very much for contributing.
And one more here. We got Mike Lowry. Mike Lowry is who called in earlier, right?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead and read Mike Lowry.
Yeah, shout out to Mike Lowry for coming through and once again always supporting the lives. They have contracts from networks for years to come. They don't need us to watch. KD said it multiple times. They're literally opening basketball courts in their major markets everywhere but the U.S. Yo, shout out to all those guys, man. Like I said, man, that come through, man. Shout out to Mike Lowry. I remember Kevin Durant told one of the some people on Twitter one time, it was maybe like last year or a couple of years ago, they were talking about, people buying their products. And the guy was talking to him on Twitter about, how you talk to the fans and all this stuff when people buy your jerseys and they buy your sneakers. And Kevin Durant said, go ahead and throw them out if you don't want my sneakers. You already paid for them. That was his response to a fan. Even if he feels that way, even if he felt the fan was being disrespectful, they said some crazy off-color stuff to him. You're supposed to be a professional. You're supposed to be Kevin Durant. The onus is on you. You look like a clown retaliating and saying something like that. Oh, go throw them away. You already spent your money anyway. You look like a clown, like I said, and then you want to turn around and hide behind your mama. It's weak, man.
And had a pretty full show today. Appreciate everybody who chimed in.
Yo, we killed it.
Praise it on with another one. Scat debunked the Kobe quit game. Well, of course he did.
Yep. Scab's on it, man. Like I said, when the LeBron James fans try to make arguments against Kobe Bryant, their argument is that Kobe Bryant wasn't perfect. You guys ever notice when we bring up the 2011 NBA Finals for LeBron James, and we're speaking in the perspective of just NBA history, what will they say? They'll say, well, that same team swept Kobe Bryant. What does Kobe Bryant do with anything? They love to inject Kobe Bryant and always try to take away and highlight his faults or maybe his cracks in his armor or say that he wasn't perfect. But I don't remember Kobe Bryant against the Dallas Mavericks being up 2-1 and losing that series. We remember that happening to LeBron James. So, I mean, what are we doing here?
So thanks to everybody who called in today. And thanks to everybody who supported us with your participation in regular chats, and the super chats are super, super appreciated, especially in these challenging YouTube days. And if you didn't hear at the beginning, Sports and Fitness Rants has to get back to his regular work schedule. Maybe will change our schedule in order to accommodate, but he's got a family and the job, and so we may be going just to the Sundays. So I'm glad everybody was here for our final Hump Day rant of the summer, or at least officially. We may see what else comes up. But always appreciate your energy and what you bring to the show, Robin.
Yo, man, AOH, it has been once again a pleasure. This is another summer. This is back-to-back summers with me and my man AOH that we've linked up like this and tried to hit you guys with these live streams pretty regularly during the summer. So like he said, I have to get back to my regularly scheduled program here. So we won't be able to really do the Wednesday lives as regularly or consistently at that time. Like we said, we're going to try to work some things behind the scenes. So we really want to thank all you guys that have been with us all summer long, man. Shout out to all you guys. I hope you guys had a great summer and stuff, man. Like I said, thank you for all support. AOH, my man. Once again, we'll talk. And like I said, we'll try to get you guys, this angry old rants going with me and my man AOH. So you guys know the deal, man. Like I said, thank you very much for everybody out there. And you guys know, man, I'll catch you guys on the next one.